Well, hello, everybody. Um, we are here today with Jon Taylor, the lead singer of My Girl Can Change a Tire. How you doing today, Jon?
I'm doing great, Stephen. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm sitting in a nice hotel room here in Houston, Texas, doing what my wife and I call workations. So we're working and slash vacationing at the same exact time and meeting with providers, man. So trying to help these guys out and do whatever it is we can.
Awesome. Well, I promised you get to see the hat, but we're not going to wear it the whole time, right? That is not the hat that fell in the river. For those of you that saw My Girl Can Change a Tire, the famous video by Mr. QuickPick, that's not the same hat. It actually floated down the Chickahominy River after I fell off of this unicorn that was in the actual ending, which we've had to edit. But anyway, it's all about disruptive marketing, guys. Anything we can do to increase our exposure out there in a crowded world of roadside assistance.
There you go. Well, Jon, so tell us who you are, what you are, and what you do in this industry and in this business, or what your business is about.
That's a very loaded question, what you are. But Jon Taylor, I started the Mr. QuickPick Lock and Road brand for roadside assistance providers. It's pretty much as simple as that. You've probably seen all my crazy videos out there where I go into an 11-minute spiel. I won't give you that. But in a nutshell, franchises are very expensive. I looked at starting a pop A-lock franchise, something similar to that. It's very expensive. I mean, you have to have tens of thousands of dollars to get started. I didn't have it.
Right.
I wanted to do a branding similar to a franchise and offer it to anybody else who was interested, anyone that didn't want to be a one-off, because there's power in branding. Ask McDonald's, ask Ray Kroc, ask any of these franchises. There's power in that brand name recognition. So that's what we did. We started Mr. QuickPick. Inexpensive licensing as opposed to franchising, where people come on board, they grab a territory, it's their territory, and they run it as Mr. QuickPick. They take advantage of that name recognition that's growing across the country. And we can do a lot more with hundreds of us and eventually thousands of us all chipping in to create an even bigger brand across the country. And it's not just a name. Anybody can come up with a name. We know the auto clubs. The auto clubs respect us. They know us. They know we're putting out a good brand of entrepreneur out there. We're not just going on Craigslist saying, come on board. It's a good bunch of guys that are working together to help each other out and support each other. You know, a lot of good relationships and friendships have been made throughout the years. So that's it in a nutshell, Stephen. You know, we've talked.
Oh yeah, we've talked for a very, very long time, man. You know, I think the first time I spoke with you guys was, man, I don't know, 2014 when I got into the industry. And that was a long time ago. And then it slowly progressed. I got into the Mr. QuickPick licensee program as well. Then COVID kind of hit, and boy, it just messed everything up. It was going really well. So but yeah, you know, you hit on something about franchisees versus licensees, and I think some people don't know the difference between some of those. You know, franchisees, they make you follow a system, tell you how to do your business, how to, you know, where to run it, how to do it. It's basically you're working for them. You get them a cut of your sales every month and the whole nine yards, versus licensees or licensee programs. You know, you're looking at intellectual property.
That's it. Intellectual property licensing, as opposed to you. And in fact, there's things we can't do as we're not a franchise. They call it franchise in disguise. So where somebody says, hey, you're going to train us or give us tools, really, you can't. I can't do that. That's a franchise thing. And we're not charging enough where we're going to do all that kind of stuff. We're getting the people that are already into the business that realize the benefits of, I like to look at it as, this is the best of a franchise for a very inexpensive cost. The best, to me, the best of a franchise, give me the golden arches. Just give me that sign and I'm going to roll with it. I don't need you to teach me how to make burgers and I know customer service. Hopefully you all know customer service if you're getting into your own business. That's part of being an entrepreneur right off the bat.
Mhm.
But that's, to me, is the best thing about the licensing versus the franchise.
Yeah, they get to keep their name. They get to utilize the power of branding. And because we all know how hard it is to brand our own business, it's expensive, it's hard. If you're trying to get to just your locale, your location versus nationwide. And what's really neat is that with Mr. QuickPick, you've got something that goes across the United States that if somebody were to say, hey, I'm Mr. QuickPick in whatever territory they are, eventually the brand name goes through and you get to see, hey, I'm going from California to Florida and I have a breakdown in Texas. Let me see if there's a Mr. QuickPick if I'm there. Utilize it and you're able to get the same service, level of service across the board from East Coast, West Coast, Southern border, Northern border, whichever which way you go.
Exactly, because these are all entrepreneurs. I mean,
Right.
even if you're hiring guys to work with you, your name is on that
Absolutely.
territory. So you're going to demand that, expect that kind of service that you're giving. And the clubs know that. They know that,
Right.
we all know there's a bunch of big engines out there that just hire a bunch of people off Craigslist and you get what you get. And when they're done with them, burn them out, put somebody else in there. That's not what you're getting from someone who's taken the time and money to spend on licensing a territory and growing a brand.
So how did you get into the Mr. QuickPick thing? How did you get into this industry? How did you get into becoming where you are with Mr. QuickPick?
I never grew up saying, Mom, I want to change tires when I grow up. That didn't happen, believe it or not. No, I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit. I've probably started 10 businesses, as a lot of us have. I've had business cards. I go through boxes and say, oh my gosh, remember when you started that business? This was one that was very interesting. I do like cars. I've always worked on my own car. But I had a buddy that worked for a lock popping company one time, and he was entrepreneurial. Said, man, you got to check this out. He goes, this is easy. And they're charging so much and paying me so little. I said, let's check it out. So it's kind of where it started. Is we said, we can do this. We can do this cheaper. So we started with a Yellow Page ad and a couple of old school cell phones. We had the Garmin. I remember buying my first Garmin and sticking it on my windshield. That was a lifesaver, man, back then, instead of breaking out the old Pizza Hut maps that I used to use way back in the day. But anyway, that's where it started. And then it grew to where, okay, how do we expand? You got to hire more people. How do you pay them? So I did get into AAA. We won awards with AAA, but AAA, as we all know, isn't famous for overpaying anyone. $16.50 was the base, with which I got a lot of, and I'm paying my drivers $15 a run. Do the math. It didn't leave much for me to have that kind of liability. I'm not going to pay them less than 15. That's already pretty insulting, in my opinion. So that's where it was like, what can I do to grow this? Teach everybody how to do their own business. That just made sense to me. That's the next step is, instead of hiring a bunch of people, show them how to do it. And then let's work together and grow this thing across the country. I can do the branding. I've been able to convince, if you will, hundreds of people that this is a good idea. And it's not that expensive. I mean, if we were charging franchise fees for a licensing agreement, no, I'm not going to pay $1,000 a month to use your name. That's silly. But for what we're charging, $100, few $100, depending on the size of the territory, it just makes sense. Because if it boils down to where it's a couple of runs a month covers that, I'm doing everything I can to market it. I had somebody online the other day say, well, we have to do our own local marketing. Well, I'm not getting paid to do your AdWords and the clicks. I used to do that. I could spend $100, $200 a day just in Google AdWords. Nobody's paying us that. But what I can do is get the name out there nationally. We mentioned the video, the songs, to me, that's disruptive marketing. It gets eyes on us. It gets eyes on the brand. And My Girl Can Change a Tire. If you haven't seen the video yet, do me a favor, check it out. Another thing you'll see is,
see it.
You got to see it, man. I'm shocked. The challenge coins we were talking earlier. Okay, this
Sure.
started off as just a nice little giveaway. Slow down, move over, right? Slow down, move over. It's a nice little giveaway. Somehow it ended up on a badge. And now it's the rave, blowing up heads all over the towing industry. You're not a first responder. You're not a cop. Now, you know from law enforcement, which you were part of, Stephen, this is not a sheriff's badge, is it?
No,
No,
far from it.
but it looks pretty cool. You know, you want one.
It's it's
Oh,
so
you
funny
have one.
because you know I sometimes try to stir the pot sometimes a little bit. You know,
Oh, yeah.
people say, oh, well, you know, I'm a first responder. You know, so and so is a first responder, and as a former police officer, I will tell you in law enforcement that the only people, guys, that are real first responders, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of crap for this, but
Oh,
that's
yes.
okay. Is police officers, man, because firefighters, they're technically second responders because, you know, the reason why God made police officers was so firefighters could have heroes. You know, so
You're going to get some comments on that.
it's all right, man. I love it, you know, but I think it's just like the military. That's kind of where that's where these challenge coins, you know, they came from.
Right.
You know, you get different people like yourself. You know, you were Navy, I was Army. My wife is Air Force. It's okay. It wasn't y'all's fault. You know, but you know, the challenge coins, man, it's everybody had one, whether it was, you know, in the Navy, you guys got your senior chiefs and your master chiefs and, you know, of the Navy and stuff that have their coins, man. You go to a bar, you go to a specific school, right? You slap that down. Whoever's got the highest one pays for the drinks that night, or doesn't have to pay for drinks, right? It's like
Right.
boom. But it's the fun things that you know you get to do, and you don't get to see that sometimes people that were not in the military don't know challenge coins. And again, like you were saying, somehow it ended up on a badge, and next thing you know, everybody's going crazy about it. And hey,
Well,
look at this. And
we do have a lot of veterans as part
yeah,
of Mr. Quick Pick, as you know. And so it's fun. It's fun to bring a little something over
yeah.
that's fun from the military, shared with, even if you weren't in the military, you can still enjoy a good challenge coin. But so much so that the more people talk about it online, I'm mailing these things out all the time. We sell them on Amazon. We sell them on our website. I got two
Yeah.
orders to take to the post office today.
Oh
Challenge
my
coins,
God.
badges. I hope nobody gets pulled over impersonating an officer. You can
Right.
impersonate a third responder or a highway
Yeah.
janitor. Impersonating a highway janitor, right?
And I think that would actually be something really cool because I know that even in law enforcement and some people that are not in law enforcement, you know, they collect patches. You know, I know a lot of guys that would collect patches from the army. I mean, now a lot of services are going back to patches. I think the Air Force started going back to patches. So it's like unit patches. You get to trade them and see them and put them on your wall. Now I've got a ton of these things. Um, Various departments that I've worked with, guys that I've trained with, different SWAT teams, different, you know, and it's fun, man. And I think that if we all kind of got challenge coins made, you know, we
Yeah,
get to share them whenever we go to these tow shows and get to see each other. It's like, hey, man, you got one of your coins, man? Yeah, here. You throw it
that
up.
is
I
cool.
think it's cool camaraderie, man. And then get yourself a challenge coin holder and put them out. We all put our what some of these guys put out Wreckmaster. I'm not a tower, so I don't know too much about towing, but they put their Wreckmaster certificates up, and it means something to them. I think it's something just neat to pass around amongst you know, the industry and fellow roadside assistance owners.
Oh,
So
yeah. You know what else is neat to pass around?
what's that?
Copy of our latest hit CD. Slow down, move over, music to tow by. If you haven't gotten a copy of this yet, you got to check it out. Features the hit songs On the Roadside Again, My Girl Can Change a Tire, Heated Seats, I'll Get You Home, Classic Party Cup, and Don't Gimme That GOA. If you haven't heard Don't Gimme That GOA, once again, that'll bring you to that's a tearjerker right there. Don't gimme that GOA. Disruptive marketing. Again, I can give you the book. And you already know, Steven, I don't know if I've given you any yet. We have crypto.
No.
I have 100 million tokens, I'm sorry, on the
Right.
Ethereum blockchain. I had them made up. They are on the blockchain, Ethereum blockchain, MQP, Mr. QuickPick. I have 100 million tokens. Now, I had them made when crypto was doing this a year or
Yeah,
two
now it's
ago.
it's tanking, man.
Nobody wants it now, but grab it now while it's cheap. I'll give you, reach
It's
out, reach out. I'll give you
tanking.
a couple thousand right now. Get your virtual wallet. I can make it happen.
It's so funny because we were just talking about this with the wife the other day, talking about cryptocurrency. As a matter of fact, I think it was the drive coming up to Houston. Um, and we were talking about cryptocurrency is just tanked, man. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's Dogecoin or Bitcoin or whoever decided to another coins, come out, man. They just tanked.
But what do you
I'm
do
glad
when things tank?
that's when you
Now's the time
buy.
to buy. This is when you want to get it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm in the Navy, right? But it all worked
And
out. It all worked
and
out.
that's and isn't that how you kind of started, Mr. Quick Pick? Was with the military and going to some of these veteran courses,
That was
if I'm not
important.
mistaken.
That was very, very insightful. We did a 12-week accelerator. We were chosen as a veteran-owned entrepreneur business by Venture Hive out of Miami. Susan Amott, Louis Amott, great group of people. They brought us down with 9 other groups for a 12-week accelerator in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And that was a blast. It was a lot of work. We went through every facet of your business. And then every day we pitched. They spent the first week teaching you how to pitch, polishing your pitch, but then you pitched usually twice a day. You stood up in front of the rest of the group, and then they got to pick you apart when you were done. And it was very good, very helpful. I mean, we went from a Flintstones looking website to what we have now. I still work with my web designer that I met during that accelerator, but we went through legal and marketing and you name it. Met city council, and then we pitched in front of the whole city of Fort Walton Beach at the city council to try to get investors like Shark Tank. It's crazy.
So now, with this, did you go through? Because I'm sure there's going to be other guys that are out there, military guys that are looking. Did you go through, like, did you go to Boots to Business or a reboot program, or what did you end up doing in order to get there?
Yeah, I did see one of these Boots to Business type social media groups online that I did see the article
Okay.
about Venture Hive, and that was very helpful. And yeah, they're Boots to Business. There's a number of them that are doing it constantly. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to fill out the application. You're basically pitching them to learn how to better pitch. But
Right.
it's well worth it, man. And they gave us, I think it was $25,000 grant that all of us received to spend 12 weeks there. It was a phenomenal experience.
That's awesome, man. So, because you guys also run, not only are you guys doing the licensee programs and territories across the United States, but you guys also run your own territories and responsible for your own territories. What would you say that has been the most difficult, thing that you have found as being a roadside business owner, not just the franchise, the licensee side of things?
I'm pretty much out of the day-to-day, if you will. I mean, I got totally overwhelmed with calls before I brought on staff members, if you will. I got to that very brink, where you're about to jump, and it's like, okay, I can't spend 28 hours a day on the phone. This is nuts. So bring in help. I mean, that's a suggestion right there. Build a team. So I did. I have Dan and Kim, who many of you have talked to before. They're actually running a couple areas in Florida. They need a hand. Hey, I carried the tools with me, but I'm growing the brand. We just started our business in a box. We launched that. We started the Call Roadside Assistance app, which I'm growing as a database of roadside assistance providers. And look, I know I'm going to get the critiques, of course, the helpful critiques from you all. Thanks so much. Yeah, I mean, it's not to do all and all, But I tell you, just yesterday, I had a call from one of the auto clubs. They called the 800 number because they didn't have anyone in Elsinore, California. But we have Elsinore,
Right.
California on our app. It's available. But right now, the 800 number, if you take Elsinore, your number's going to go there. But they called the 800 and said, hey, we need help in Elsinore. Tried to help them out.
And that's actually kind of slick because your app is called Call Roadside or Roadside Assistance. And I believe I saw your video just the other day on Mr. QuickPick USA, or maybe it was Call Roadside. Everybody talks to their phones now, right? Google
Yep.
and Alexa and Siri, and everybody is freaking listening. Probably as well as NSA and probably all these other people that listen out there, right?
Right.
And the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna say, hey, whoever your phone is with, call Roadside Assistance.
There you go.
And it's kind of slick because it's gonna go straight there.
So before I grabbed that domain, I simply Googled what are the top keyword responses when somebody needs roadside assistance, and that was number one. Call roadside assistance number, service provider number. So what do you think I did? I grabbed them all. So if you go to roadside assistance number, I think was one of the top ones. They're all forwarded to call roadside assistance. I'm playing with the keywords. Look, I know how Google works, and I don't know how Google works because they change it so much. And I'm sure the experts will tell me, "Oh, that ain't how it works." Whatever. You know what? It doesn't hurt. How's that? It's gonna help us. I'm growing it with the algorithms.
And that's the one thing that I have never been a master in, will never try to claim being an expert in, is the whole marketing, advertising, and keywords. And man, that's a full-time job in itself.
Oh yeah.
But what's really neat is, for me, is I can show people how to bring the awareness of business ownership. It's not, you don't want the business to run you. You need to run your business. And sometimes you do need outside help, such as your marketing and advertising and keywords and how to understand SEO and SEM. And, if you can find somebody that does that, I mean, I know quite a few people that do it. I don't do it. When people ask me, they call me and, hey, I want to grow my cash calls. I'm like, I can help you grow your cash calls. Well, I want to learn about how to market my area. Ooh, yeah, I would be what they would call the exception and not the rule with my own roadside assistance company. But that's because I'm in an extremely rural area, 45, 50 miles from a major metropolitan city area, and it just worked for me, man. I've never had to really do much of anything with mine other than change some keywords on my website and make sure your Google My Business, right, is up there. And I think you guys help, even though some of these guys get in and you're not allowed to really teach them how to do the business, you still help them get set up, right?
We do. The social media aspect, we have the app now, which is great, the Call Roadside Assistance app. MrQuickPick.com has been great. You got your location on there with all your contact info, as well as the Call Roadside Assistance has an app. But then the biggest social media, the Google and the Facebook, I know people are using Instagram and TikTok and all that kind of thing. We're at least going to set you up with your own Facebook business page that's connected to Mr. QuickPick. So if you're Mr. QuickPick San Antonio, you're going to get the Mr. QuickPick San Antonio page, all uniform as a brand should be, with the rest of the country, the licensees across the country. And we'll help you set up your Google profile. That's gets a little tricky because if you already have a Google business profile, you don't want to overlap them and get a red flag. So we kind of leave that. We're not doing people's AdWords. I don't have time to do all that kind of stuff. I tell people, you don't want me running runs. You don't want me doing that. You want me growing this thing to 1,000, 2,000 guys across the country, because that's what's going to grow everyone. But we'll at least help you get started and put you in the right direction, hook you up with contacts. You have contacts, I have contacts if they need that type of help. It's all important, but yeah, you can't burn yourself out in too many different directions. You got to focus, right?
It's so hard, man. It's the job. Nobody can be taught how to really do the job. I mean, you could get taught how to do an unlock, right? But you can't really get taught how to jump start a car, change a tire, put gas in there. It's fairly simple. Replace a battery, unless it's some of these really crazy cars. but it's easier. You can get shown how to what properly run your business, be a business owner. That's hard. I mean,
Right.
if especially if you're a one-man show, you're a single owner operator, you are the advertiser, the marketer, the CEO, COO, the CFO, you're the whole C-suite and then
Yeah.
some.
And that's
You
where we
know,
try to help people. Not everyone, just because you can change tires doesn't mean you can design a website or that you can
right.
even do your own social media. How many times have I seen somebody who will hear about Mr. QuickPick and I'll hear a comment or see a comment, you can do that on your own. And he can't even spell own right. It's like, you're going to try to do this on your own? I don't think so, but good luck. I also have people that say, oh, that ain't worth it. They got a name like Gangsta Roadside or something. My grandma's not calling Gangsta Roadside. Come on. Hey, you do you. If that's what makes you happy, we'll do us. Not everybody can come on board with us. I mean, for one thing, if your territory is not available, we're not overlapping. But the other thing is, we don't want the gangsters out there. We want to keep that A plus with the Better Business Bureau, which is a big turning point for us, selling point.
And that's actually really important, is that you're not overlapping territories. I mean, very much like a lot of companies that are out there that are trying to sell franchisees, or because some people don't know that you can get into the AAA franchisee program if you wanted to.
Right.
I don't know I've never spoken with any of those guys. I don't know how they are when it comes to territories, and who's north, who's south. Do you get the whole thing? But I think that's really, really genius about you guys, is that you ensure that no one's overlapping each other. And if if the time frame comes, sometimes, because I think some of your cities, your locations are ginormous. I mean, I'm here in Houston, man, and it would be crazy to try to run all of Houston, by yourself. That's a big, that's huge. I mean, unless you are really good at strategically placing your drivers, or you've got a plethora of employees or contractors. Because I think that's right now is the hardest thing for everybody that's a business owner, man, is trying to get good help, and people that want to work. There's a lot of people that want to work, but yet they go, well, I don't want to make $20 a job. I want to make $100 a job. Well, that's that's when you become an owner.
The worst person you can hire to work for you is another entrepreneur, right? Because eventually they're going to go on their own. I love hiring veterans, retired veterans, people that are just looking to make a couple $100 a week. They don't want to start their own business. They've been there, done that. They want to relax, but they still like that low cash flow coming in. That's your guy that you want. And we try to avoid, like you mentioned with the bigger cities, we don't want to give too much to where we're turning into that Craigslist hiring machine. That's not what we base ourselves on. That's not how we've grown this. But at the same time, we don't put people on top of each other, because I've said it 1,000 times. It's got to work for you, but it's going to work for us. If it's not working for you, you're not sticking with us. It's not going to work for anybody. So
and because you guys go through a process, almost like an interview process, of finding out whether it would be a fit for this individual, and not only for you but for them. Because if they don't understand it, they're going to get eaten alive. And that's just, I think, business in itself. Doesn't matter whether you could go into McDonald's and that's a franchise that's selling you a system for $1 million, and still have your rear end handed to you, if you don't understand it.
Our typical, the guy that works out best is a guy that's been running his Bob's Roadside, that's trying to grow his name, his image, his brand. He's trying to do it on his own. He's realizing that costs a lot of money, and his territory is available. He doesn't come to us expecting the things of a franchise with, how do I do this? How do I do that? The best guy is the guy that you hand the golden arches to, and he runs with it. He's like, I know what I'm doing. I can do this. Now we're still here to support. But like you said, it's to support with the marketing and the branding, not with the change in tires and signing up the auto clubs. And all. Most people can figure that out on their own at this point.
And you guys are nationwide, right?
We are. We almost had our first Canada. Oh,
Oh,
in
wow.
fact, we came so close to our first Canada. I had to buy all the .ca, and yeah, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone, guys. But yeah, we're getting there. I have a guy interested that's in Hawaii right now.
Oh,
Oahu,
wow.
somewhere in Honolulu. Hoping to get our
Yeah.
first Hawaii guy. So yeah, we're all over the country, but would love to expand to Canada eventually. Mr. Wonderful, if you're out there, I know you're Canadian. You're a dual citizen, dually. You want to buy the rights to Canada, Mr. QuickPick?
Right. That would be get you onto the Shark Tank and see if you can get somebody to, open something up there, man.
So I've tried getting on the Shark Tank a few times. Maybe you saw one of my videos. It's from back in 2016 or 18, where I
Okay.
put the video. I made it to the second response, which is send us your video. The first is, of course, paperwork you email in. I didn't get it. I didn't get it, but I still blasted it out on. I said I'm still gonna use
Sure.
this video to my advantage. So I blasted it out on YouTube. It's got a lot of hits and goes through the whole pitch that I gave the Sharks back in the day. But never know.
Well, hey,
Somebody
at
sees
least
that
you got
video,
that
my girl
far.
can change a tire video. Everything changes, man.
At least you got that far. I would say at least you even had the intestinal fortitude to do it, because I don't think I would have. I would have been like, yeah, I'm not gonna have that.
You mean the Shark Tank or singing song?
Yeah, no, well, both. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Shark
It's
Tank and
tough.
singing songs. Well, as long as you're in good health, man. I mean, you seem like you're all right. I've hung out with you a couple of times, you know.
Well, we
Um,
talked about this earlier. You got to enjoy what you're doing,
you
and you
do.
got to take a break from it every now and then. I did go see the Tampa Bay Rays play baseball yesterday. It was an afternoon game up at Tropicana Field. Take some time for yourselves. We see guys all the time talking about running it, burning that candle, and bragging about it. It's like they're bragging about it.
That's
No,
crazy.
do it for the kids. Do it for the
Especially
wife.
especially when you're younger. I mean, I just turned 40. Oh man, 2 weeks ago. Today my youngest turned 21, right? Um, and so it's really crazy to think, my past life, and you and I were talking about this before we came on. My past life in law enforcement, man. You show up for an 8-hour shift in your specialized unit. You have to, you end up going on to something else, and it turns into a 10, 12, 14, 16, 20-hour shift. You do this 3, 4 hours, 3, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, man, it tears you up.
Right.
um and then these guys that are doing towing and roadside, right, our days don't stop. We are going to continue 24/7. Some of us have um hours of operation. I know I do. Um, you know, 0700 all the way to 1900 hours, or 7 o'clock for those not military individuals, because I had to take a look at, I was running myself ragged, man. I had to take a look at what were the hours of my calls that took the most, or when I started, and then when did I end? I
Right.
went through and started looking at Tobuck, and it was like, okay, first call typically showed up around 7 o'clock. That's when the influx of calls came in. My calls started stopping at 7 o'clock at night. Why was I staying up another 12 hours, or, kicking myself in the butt trying to make that dollar?
Yeah.
Um, then it went from 7 days a week to Monday through Saturday. I was getting one call a Sunday, but I would always stay dressed and be ready to go, and I would miss out on the anniversaries, the birthdays, the whatever it was, to
Yeah.
go run one call. You have to set time for yourself, man. Like, the wife and I, the other day, we went to one of her company functions, and it was at a missions baseball game. What is it, AAA or minor league, whatever the heck it's called? But it was fun, man. It was good to like get away from the hustle and bustle of business.
Yeah. Turn the phone off. You got to turn.
Oh
If you're still
man.
taking your phone in the shower with you, you got to hire somebody. We've all done. If
Yeah,
only a
man.
Jero or the autoclip could see us. Don't put us on video. But yeah, if you're still
Right.
taking your phone in the shower with you, turn it off every now and then. Go to Busch Gardens. Take a break.
Right.
They're going to call you
And
later. They will call you
go
back.
to,
Trust me. And this is a great lead into, I hope you're going to let me interview you for DSS consulting, because that's the type of information a lot of guys, I don't know all that type of tax write-off type stuff.
sure.
But that's important. That's stuff that you're just, sending money down the road if you don't know these type of things. So DSS consulting will turn the table sometime. I'll get the big Larry King microphone
There
out,
you go.
and we'll let you put on the cowboy hat.
I
As long as you're
would
as
love
long
to.
as you're wearing pants, right? I've
Yeah,
heard
I've
about the
got
Zoom
shorts
calls.
on. I've got shorts on. I when I don't have to work, I like to wear shorts and pretend that I know how to golf. So golf shorts, golf shoes, just to play the
Oh
part.
yeah.
I can yell four really good. I don't know how to do anything else, but I can play the hell out of putt, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely enjoy it, man. I think it would be great. There's a lot of business tips out there, especially within this industry, that a lot of people don't know. When it comes especially to purchasing vehicles, how you can get vehicles, business credit. I mean, there's so much stuff that gets involved in this because a lot of people are, they want everything, right? I want funding, I want vehicles, I want this, I want that. How do I get to the next biggest part? How do I get into tow trucks? Well, if you can't run a successful roadside assistance business, you're not going to be able to get into towing, man. Like, I'm sorry.
Right.
I love people out there to death, but the one thing I won't do is I'm not going to sugarcoat something.
Hey man,
if it's,
some people are crazy. We all know that. Not pointing any
hey,
fingers, but there's some crazy people
yeah,
out there, man.
and so you have to be able to have that business mindset of what you're going to do when you get that money, or if you get that money. How do you do it? Let's do some business planning. Again, I'm not perfect by any means. I can get you a generic business plan, but the great thing about business plans, they're living documents. They consistently revolving and evolving.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they're fluid,
they're
baby, fluid.
growing and they change. I just had a interview last week with a guy. He started in roadside, and then his business evolved into strictly tires, oil changes, and battery replacements, from everything from light duty to heavy duty.
Sweet.
And that's kind of important because where you start may not be where your business ends up, and don't
Exactly.
fight where business takes you. Um,
Exactly.
because I think for you, right, you started off doing the business yourself as something that was just slow going. Hey, it was you were able to find a
A
spot that had a
niche,
need.
right?
Yeah. And then now it grew into a licensee program where you're not only helping other people, get into their ownership of their own business, but help brand themselves within your brand, and help them go nationwide with that.
Exactly. In the entrepreneur world, they call it pivoting. So you cannot be stuck with blinders on as the world's
Right.
changing and technology's changing. You got to pivot, baby, and that's what we had to do. And you got to really, we talked about this earlier. You got to like helping people, whether it's the
Yes.
customer on the street or helping your fellow entrepreneurs, your fellow business owners. If you're not enjoying that part of it, you might want to find something else to do.
Yeah, because I think that's why a majority of us got into this industry. I know myself, again, coming from law enforcement, I ended up sustaining a career-ending injury, and so it took my law enforcement career away from me. But I still had that want and urge to want to help people because it was in my blood, man. Like I just I needed something to do, and I
Right.
needed to have that need, right? That want, that sense of fulfill, that you're fulfilling something, and helping people was a big one. So now you get to find yourself in that 10 minutes that you show up on a call. Um, how many of us have been there, and you get the mother, the father, the elderly woman, the
Oh
grandmother,
yeah.
the whatever, and they're freaking out, man, because it's like they're on a highway and their tires blown out, or they ran out of gas, they locked the keys in the car, their groceries are there, right? For 10 minutes, these people are probably in the most stressful times of their life, and you being the expert in your business, your field, right? The SME, like we call it in the military, your subject matter expert. Um, you're able to unlock that car in 20-30 seconds. You're able to change that tire in a couple of minutes. You're bringing fuel to restart that vehicle to get them off to the next exit to be able to fill up to the gas station. We really fulfill that stress that people are feeling. We are that stress relief, right? And we do it
Right.
because we like helping people, man. And if you're in this business for the money can be okay sometimes, but we're not going to get rich, man. Like it's going to take care of bills. It's going to keep the lights and everything on, our employees paid. Um, but in the long run, we get into this business because we like helping people, and I think that if you're right, if we can't, if we no longer like that job, hang the belt up. It's time
Yeah.
to go home,
Yeah.
find something else.
You got to sleep good at night. I'm sure you do. I sleep well at night. You got to get your sleep too, guys. Don't forget to sleep.
Oh yeah.
That's
8 hours.
medicine.
That's never gonna happen, but I'm good with at least 5. But unfortunately, that's from contracting days and security and law enforcement days, man.
Uh,
Unfortunately, my body has been trained on 5 hours of sleep, and I'm golden now. One of these days I'll get 8, and I'm probably not gonna know what the hell to do.
well, you need to get your consulting hours down,
Yeah.
9 to 5. Well, you're doing the West Coast and the East
That
Coast.
that I do. I at least do 9 to 5, but I will. I am always open to making sure I got my guys in Hawaii taken care
Yeah,
of, and
you can set
I've
appointments up.
absolutely, man, and that's the one thing that I think a lot of folks that know me is that I have almost always been available and flexible to be able to help just about anybody that I possibly can. Saturdays, Sundays, late at night, early in the morning, man, I don't care. If you want to be up at the crack of dawn with me drinking coffee at 5:30 on a Zoom meeting, let's do it. I'm down.
That's
um
cool. You're going to give out your
so
number at the bottom of the screen, right?
yeah, well, I'll put mine later, but today it's all about you.
Oh, man.
It's
Thanks,
about
dude.
Mr. Quick Pick, man. I really want to take a look at, not only showcasing and highlighting other businesses, but it's like real business owners. Um, because there may be other things, and the one thing that you may actually bring to this may not even be so much the roadside assistance, entrepreneurial ship of owning or having this brand, but you may spark somebody's interest in starting their own licensee program in a field like this, right?
Right.
Um, because roadside assistance is huge. I mean, roadside assistance can be, hey, my brakes went out on the side of the road. You got a guy that knows that can do brakes, right? And they pull into a big gas station or something, and they can do the job right there. Pick the car up, flop the brakes out. If it's possible repair, they can do the repair. If not, sometimes these guys have shops, right? They could tow the car, they get it there. So the entrepreneurial, I think, part of this is they may see this and say, hey, I would like to see about trying to get into a licensee program as well, and how to start that. And I think
Sure.
that's really cool, man. There's a ton of programs out there.
One of the guys I was in the accelerator with at Fort Walton Beach years ago, so we were all in different businesses. Mine was the roadside assistance. His was the drone business.
Oh
And he's
yeah.
still up and running, but he got with my attorney out of Louisville and wrote up a licensing agreement. He was licensing his name, Drones Unlimited, through you
Yeah.
a pitch out there. Shout out Brian. But he did. He got with the my attorney. I can't remember his name. Dodd. Sorry, Dodd. Shout out to Dodd, my attorney. And yeah, he did a licensing agreement just for the drone business across the country, where they're using
Yeah.
Drones Unlimited as a name.
And I think that's, not only is it this is what I'm trying to do, but bring the awareness to ownership. Real business people, real owners, real people. We're not a commercial Hope maybe one of these days we turn into a podcast, a
Hey,
podcast show. Hey, I'll tell you what, I'll wear my cowboy hat and you wear your cowboy hat. We'll figure it all out. So, like I said, I really wanted to do this, and it may turn into something else. Who knows? Um, but I want to be able to put sometimes the small guys that are out there that people don't know about, that maybe they offer a service that is um, that another company is looking for. Hell, someone's into fleet services. Maybe we find a company that is looking for someone that's looking for fleet services that can maintain it. And you're never going to get that guy that's a little guy that doesn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising and marketing.
that's what she
Um,
said.
Give them, the opportunity to show themselves on here, man. God,
Yeah.
that's so hard to not have to say something on,
Sorry, I tried to slip it in there.
Yeah, I know.
No,
That's what he said. All right. So,
you're
but
terrible.
hey, I try, man. That's the army side of me, man, right? It's the immaturity. Hey, the body's 40, or what is it? On paper I'm 40, the body feels like I'm 65, but the brain is still very immature 19. It's the you have to have fun in just about everything you do, right? I think that's important.
You got to, man.
Um, so, well, John, how, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how would they go about doing that? And seeing maybe if they want to, if their territory is open, how do they do that?
We have so much contact information online, so I'm just going to send you right to the
Yeah.
MrQuickPick.com website. Contact us. Call Roadside Assistance website.com website. Contact us. Or the easiest one is just Mr. Quickpick at Gmail. I mean, we have info at MrQuickPick.com, but give us an email. That's got to be the quickest. Shoot us an email, MrQuickPick at gmail.com, and we will get right back with you. We'll let you know if your territory is available. If you go on the Call Roadside Assistance app, look for your territory. And if it says available, guess what? Come on.
You get put on it, right? Now, do
It'll
they
say
have to be a
licensed if
Mr.
it's already taken.
Do they need to be part of the Mr. Quick Pick licensee program in order to take part within your call roadside?
They don't. And we have a
Okay.
lot of people that dual brand. They don't necessarily want the Mr. Quick Pick name. They've done a great job of, growing their own brand, which is great, but they want the exposure from the app. They want the exposure from the site. So yeah, we have people that dual brand. Whatever you want to do. Here again, it's working with you and growing our brand all together. Whatever works for you. We're very flexible. If you look at Ben Sword in Champaign, Urbana, Illinois,
Oh
he
yeah,
came to me
Ben.
years ago. He's been with us forever. He said, John, I'm in a college town. Would you mind if I change the colors of the logo to blue and
Orange, I
red or
think it is,
something?
or
He goes,
something. Yeah.
it's a college town, orange. There you go. I said, Ben, you know your territory and you know it's going to work. So Google Mr. Quick Pick Champaign Urbana, and you'll see this nice colors of logo that he's had for years, and it's working. So we're very flexible. Very flexible. You know your territory,
Oh yeah.
and I'm going to help you brand it. That's what it boils down
Awesome,
to.
man. So that's MrQuickPick.com. They can go to review, to look at your website, and call. What is the website for Call Roadside?
Call roadsideassistance.com.
Okay. And then
And both
obviously
those apps are available. You can get the App Store. Sorry about that. The App Store has our app as well as the Google Play Store. Call Roadside Assistance. But yeah, if you need, our phone numbers are online also.
say their phone numbers are on there, and so they get to you guys regardless of which way they go.
All of our contact info is out there.
That is awesome.
That's 101 kind of stuff, right? I figure if somebody can't get hold of us, they probably shouldn't be in business anyway, because we're out there. If you can't figure out how to get a hold of us, I don't think I can help. But anyway, I'll try.
And then, so my final question to kind of close this out, man, because so now we've been able to see kind of how you progressed through, where you started, where you're ending, and this is obviously over years and years of being in this industry and business. where do you want to go with this? Like, what do you have? What do you see yourself going, in 5, 10 years, or what is your ultimate goal for Mr. QuickPick?
And here we're back to pivot. I mean, if anybody's keeping up with what's going on with technology, I'm really trying to stay on top of everything. We see EVs. I mean, EVs are evolving as we speak. And you and I have talked about getting into the battery, Starbucks type battery charging. Who knows? I'm going to keep pivoting. And, everybody's driving, whether they're ride sharing or delivering groceries or doing roadside assistance. That's a job now. Didn't used to be a job. It's a job now. So you can do everything out of your car if you want to be that guy that's dropping off people, unlocking a car and dropping off a loaf of bread, and many more things. They have people that go to Home Depot and drop stuff off all day long with people and other companies. So that's where I'm kind of looking at, where can we be most useful and grow this thing without diluting. We don't want to dilute the brand, but just being available to pivot. I'll leave it at that, because I don't know, as you don't, what's going to happen in the next 6 months, never mind a year or two. Oh my God.
I wish I could do it all over again, but I got myself in it. I'm not stopping. I'm going to continue pushing through, and I will have to change business as it needs to in order to make it work. So, well, Jon, it's been a pleasure and awesome to talk to you out there, and hopefully we get to do this again. I know you and I have talked about doing this on podcast type style thing, and maybe these guys get to see us talk about, there's so many things out there for towing, man. I think the roadside owners kind of are missing out a little bit. Unfortunately, it's a niche within a niche within a niche, right? We've got towing within the transportation industry, then you got roadside assistance only, right? The roadside soft service guys that are within the towing industry. And so hopefully we can bring a small little show to some of these guys that are looking at getting in the business, man, because there's so many tools, there's so much money involved in roadside that hopefully we can do. So I know we'll be talking soon again, man. I definitely do appreciate you coming out and visiting with me, even while I'm sitting in a hotel room in Houston, Texas.
Looks like a nice room, buddy.
Yeah, I forgot my green screen. I didn't know that if I was going to be able to have room to put it in the car, because I brought Easy Spares and their products with me. So I said, nah, I'm not going to be able to put the sucker in there. And now I'm regretting it because I got all this room. So I'm like, oh, well. But well, we will be talking soon again, man. Again, if you guys want to get in touch with Jon Taylor, the lead singer of My Girl Can Change a Tire.
And don't give me that GOA.
And then go give me that GOA. Mr. QuickPick.
These CDs up on the website as well. Go to the website. We have a store.
So MrQuickPick.com, call roadsideassistance.com. Any of those numbers will get to Dan, Kim, John, whomever decides to pick up the phone that day. See if your territory is available and ready to go. And if you need some branding help and you don't want to brand your own, Mr. QuickPick, take a look at them and see what you guys can do. Jon, have a blessed day, man. Don't work too hard.
You do, Steven. It was great talking to you. I'll talk to you later.
Best. She doesn't use 12-letter words. Most are 4 or less. But words don't matter when you're running late for work. No time to spare. You step outside, your tire's flat, and you need more than air. My